Dean Zaffirini.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sheriff Hawthorn, you said that some of your members were not in support of this bill.
They're not in support of it being mandatory. They are in support of removing criminal aliens.
Do they have concerns about any other aspect of the bill?
Most of it's financially, just concerned about unfunded mandates and being required to, because all of them now are operating under Senator Perry's Senate Bill 4 from 2017. So they're cooperating with ICE. ICE is in their jails. So that has been a very effective program and law that this body created in 2017. Like most anything, it's kind of like your children. You'd much rather it be voluntary than mandated. And so obviously they're concerned about being mandated to do it, and they're concerned about the mandate if it's unfunded. So the funding is our number one issue.
Do you have any idea what it would cost a county of, say, $300,000 to implement this bill, including asking for a grant? And how much would they request in a grant?
So it depends upon we've tried to figure out a fiscal note, and it's very difficult. I will tell you that for me, it costs I have a little over 200 bed facility, and it cost me about $10,000 a year, a little more than $10,000 a year. And the cost, such as Sheriff De Leon was saying, that the cost is, what are you going to do with that individual? How do you backfill their position when they're gone for 30 days? So if Borders Our Homan brings that back to 8 days, so it's essentially 2 weeks, it'll be 2 weeks of training, we're still going to have to try and figure out how do you backfill that position. And if you're a small sheriff, that's who it really hurts. The larger sheriffs like Bill, they can move personnel around and change and adjust schedules. Don't mean to stick it, but if you're a small sheriff, and there's a couple of them that are going to follow us they'll tell you it's very difficult because now you got to figure out how to backfill that position. I'm fortunate because my commissioner's court gives me overtime money. Many of these sheriffs do not have any overtime money at all. So therefore, you have to give them comp time. Well, when you give comp time, it just creates the same problem when they're not there. It's all about trying to backfill those jailers. So that is the real difficult part. And I'm sure as a county gets larger, they have larger problems. It just may not be the same problem that a smaller sheriff has.
Thank you. The fiscal note is for $1.4 million for the biennium. So that's only $700,000 a year. Do you believe that that would be enough to meet the needs of your counties who apply for these grants?
You know, I trust the number crunchers. Like I say, I can only speak for my sheriff's office when it comes to the dollar amount. And like I say, it cost me $10,000 per jailer that are 287G certified.
So the concern is that this would in effect become an unfunded mandate?
It could be, yes, ma'am. That's the association's worry. We support the program. We support removing criminal aliens. Please know that.
Do you support using state appropriations for federal laws, to enforce federal laws?
I do, in the protection of our state.
Thank you. One of the sections in the bill authorizes the Attorney General to take legal actions against the people who do not apply for the agreement with ICE. Do you have any concerns about that, specifically about no definition regarding what kind of legal action could be taken?
Well, we always have concerns about that, all right, obviously. But even Senator Perry's bill, Senate Bill 4 in 17, had a stick involved in it. So we understand when you pass a law, if anybody should be following state law, it should be the sheriffs. So, and we feel like every sheriff is following state law.
If you're going to enforce the law, you should first obey the law, correct?
Absolutely.
Wouldn't it make you feel any better if that legal action were defined in the bill?
Excuse me?
Would it make you feel any better if the legal action were defined in the bill? The bill simply says, take legal action against those who don't apply for the agreement.
Well, it probably would relieve some sheriffs' worries of not knowing what that initiative is that the Attorney General would do, all right? But at the same time, I think most of us aren't too worried about that because we're elected by our constituents to protect our counties and protect the state. and we're going to follow the law regardless of what the law is. We may come back next session and ask you to change it, but I don't know of a sheriff one that doesn't do his best to try and make sure he's in compliance with state law.
Thank you. Of your members who are concerned about the bill or at least oppose the mandatory aspect of it, or do they come from throughout the state, or are they from a particular region of the state?
You know, I will tell you that I've been kind of surprised. It's been from big county sheriffs to some of our smaller county sheriffs. I think it's just the mandatory aspect of it, because they would say that they are already cooperating under SB4 from 2017.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Dean.
May I address that right there with the major counties?
Go ahead, Sheriff.
The chair, all major counties that I know have ICE in the jail all the time, and they even have offices in the jail in some of them. And you take, for instance, Hidalgo County, which is one of our border counties. Well, McAllen is one of the safest cities in the United States because you can't go 5 feet without running over a military person or a federal agent of some sort. And their ICE is concentrated in his jail, has offices in his jail. So for the Hidalgo County, that might look like a duplication of services because they're there and they're not going anywhere. You know, I can't ever imagine them leaving Hidalgo County. But that would be to add to the point of the mandate or whatever.
Thank you, Dean.